that we try to reach racial quotas. Anytime we reach racial quotas, we relax the standards.
That's made up, by the way. That's made up. So some of the highest performing companies in American history, the highest performing, like Apple, for example, Apple still is maintaining their DEI, arguably the most successful American company in the past 20 years, okay? They have been very committed to DEI. They are still committed. Their board voted to keep DEI even after Trump started to attack it.
Standards for air traffic control, professors, or college admissions. Therefore, when it comes to pilots or surgeons, if I see somebody who is black, as I said on the show, I'm going to hope that that person...
And also, pilots or surgeons, all it would mean, okay, is we are going to open our hiring pool to more demographics of qualified people, okay? We are going to open our hiring pool to more demographics of qualified people, all right? It's not we're going to go hire whatever black guy we can find to be a surgeon or to be a pilot, but Charlie Kirk knows this. He knows this. He knows this. He's not really this dumb, okay? He knows his audience is dumb, pushovers, lazy, doesn't do research. He knows his audience will accept the racism, so he can lie about it, and he knows it.
...is qualified. That's what I said, which of course is legitimate, because they're begging the question, we're not hiring based on merit anymore. We're hiring based on race.
Begging the question.
So when you see a black pilot, you wonder, boy, is that person there because they earned it or because they were placed there? That's what DEI does. It makes you ask questions you otherwise would not ask.
So the airline industry is going to take an unqualified person just based off the diversity.
Underqualified, not
underqualified.
Underqualified, not underqualified. Huh.
Underqualified, whatever, uncertified, and put them in a cockpit and risk people's lives?
Those are two different things. Under and un are two different things. Of course, United Airlines will not take someone off the side of the street and put them in a pilot. But in order to reach a 40% goal, they might cut corners. They might accelerate the process in order to reach a goal. We know this through all sorts of DEI examinations and projects over the last 10 years.
All sorts.
You have to choose in life. Either excellence or racial quotas will end up being the most important, and both cannot simultaneously.
Either excellence or racial quotas will become the most important.
It's never happened before.
Okay, so when we talk about DEI, well, who benefits the most? Because black people really don't. It's only like maybe 3 to 4% of black people actually benefit from those programs. So who benefits the most?
True. Such a small percentage of DEI programs go to black people, for example. Like 5% of DEI programs do go to black people. But the vast majority are non-racial things. Okay, DEI does affect things like gender, things like, it does affect race, it does affect military, veteran status, disability, it affects gender, it affects class background. DEI, the idea that it's just a race thing shows how people view it as a race thing, and that shows they're being racist when they critique it.
I'm not sure your question. I mean, theoretically, if 40% of all pilots end up being black people or people of color.
That's not. I actually looked it up. It's only like maybe about 6% of pilots.
Their goal is 40%, right? That's the point. It's like that's actually a great point. So they wanted to go from 6% to 40%. And so you have to wonder, boy, you go from 6% to 40%, there's going to be a relaxing of standards.
Okay, I guess the way let me see if I can rephrase this. So essentially when you talk about DEI, affirmative action, or anything to that effect.
I'm against all of it, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and that would be fine. The thing is that now it's actually, referenced as a slur against, essentially if you see a black person in a position or, minority or whatever.
DEIA.
That person is not qualified when
accessibility.
Literally, and, you have to be qualified in order to even to get in that position.
Well, so let's take college admissions. So this is a great example. At Harvard, we learned because of new revealed documents that black students were having test scores that were 30 to 35% lower.
Affirmative action is different from DEI. Again, DEI is we're going to hire from more demographics of qualified individuals. We're not going to lower standards or lower scores to accept anyone else. And also, you can argue that affirmative action does not lower standards. You would just say that, for example, we're going to take into account other background things as well. So if a poor student, scores really low on a test, we might take them over a rich student who got a higher score, all right? Because the person who scored a little bit lower is from a working class background, and they had to fight through more to get to where they are. So therefore, they are a more valuable candidate. Okay, there's a difference between DEI and affirmative action. You could say affirmative action came from the same school of thought as DEI, but they are very distinct. They are very distinct things. And DEI itself is not bad, okay? A lot of whites are DEI hires. A lot of rural whites especially are DEI hires at many universities.
Than their white counterparts.
Okay.
And so, therefore, if you saw a black kid at Harvard, it's a fact that they were not having the same test standards as their white counterparts.
Still doesn't matter. The kid has to get through. He's got to get through the classes, do the tests, do all the research.
Well, they actually
pass
drop out
everything.
at a greater rate too. But the point being is, just the idea that they were there, number one, took a spot from an otherwise qualified individual that might be white, and they were not there on the same merits. So what we want is the same rules for everybody.
You're making the assumption that they're not qualified in order to get in. In order to even get there,
It's not
be
the assumption;
considered.
it's the data. So.
It's never the same rules for everybody, no matter what. There's never going to be the same rules for everybody. Okay, there's a reason that programs dedicated to helping poor kids become college students, okay, those programs are going to have high failure rates, okay? Expensive colleges that cost tons of money to get into, that require higher test scores, they're going to have higher graduation rates because the people going to these colleges are going to be from rich families, okay? There is no equal standard in America. There's never going to be. There's never going to be an equal standard. Unless if every person had the same income, same parenting, same neighborhood, same friends, same coaches, same school, same everything. You know, the way Charlie Kirk talks here is more idealistic and utopian than communists, okay? Like, obviously, you're going to have higher dropout rates if you're pulling from populations that had to go through shit. It makes sense. If you're from a pretty pampered background, you're probably going to be fine getting through college. It doesn't matter what happens to you, all right? And many of those students, by the way, have to drop out because their family back home needs them to come back and work and help them survive because they're from a shitty background. So they got to go help their family survive. They don't have time to drop their entire lives to go to campus and party and do classes. There's a whole, and this is why Charlie Kirk hates sociology. There's a whole book, there's tons of books, a whole section of sociological research talking about how poor kids handle going to private universities and public and any university or college with a bunch of other kids who are rich, all right? The poor kids always suffer because of their background. They always suffer. I hate this idea that it's like equal opportunity. That's not how anything ever works.
So for example, it's literally at Harvard, you had kids with perfect SAT scores, perfect ACT scores that were white.
So that makes a degree from Harvard worthless then.
Well, you're exactly right. Yeah, actually, Harvard's degree is becoming more worthless because it's more race-based than merit-based. You're exactly right.
Okay, now we talked enough about that. Okay, so in the past you made statements about black privilege. So can you explain that to me and what it is? And
Yeah, of
how
course.
black
I mean,
people
it's
get
easier for a black person to get into college than a white person. You get with lower test scores. It's called affirmative action.
Okay, so that's been so college admission has been affirmative action for college admission has been struck down.
Thank you. Yeah.
So
I'll give you another example. What percentage of TV commercials have black people versus white people?
I'm not sure about that, but
About
white
40,
people are also in commercials.
About
so
40. Well, this is important. About 40 to 50% of all network TV commercials have a person of color right now. What percentage of America is a person of color?
A person of color or black person?
At least for black people, I know we're about 13%.
Yeah, it's about so 13% of the population, nearly half of all the TV commercials.
He said person of color, not just black. He said person of color. Oh yeah, I forgot. Conservatives are too stupid to understand numbers.
White people
Sorry.
still in the commercials.
Yes, but underrepresented as proportional, though. The point being, I can give you another example. Easier to get corporate jobs. There are entire departments that are dedicated to just try and expand racial quotas.
You know what would really fix this from the beginning had you not had all the. So why do we have DI in the first place? Because this is the problem that creates. So why was DI necessary in the first place? Or people, or at least the government thought it was necessary in the first place.
Why do I think that it was?
No, why would the government?
Do you want my well-intentioned explanation or the?
Whatever you got.
I mean, DEI was obviously about trying to destroy the excellence of the country and elevate racial tribal politics.
Trying to destroy the excellence of the country and elevate racial tribal politics. When DEI was first conceived in the 60s, okay, after slavery, after Reconstruction, after Jim Crow, after all these things, black people could not have their own bank accounts, they could not own homes, they could not be getting loans in certain areas that were redlined, okay? After all this history, all right, we have these programs that call for equal opportunity employment, and businesses need to not discriminate against people in their hiring process. They need to expand their horizons and make sure they look at, different demographic groups in an equitable way. After all that, Charlie Kirk says we had these policies in place in the 60s to sow racial division. Yeah, bro. It's also Obama's fault America's racist. It's Obama's fault. Do you know how many white people say to me that Obama made them racist? Nice.
Okay, so if you don't have the racism, right, and then you'll need that program. So you eradicate the racism, and that eliminates the need for any kind of program.
No, but if you have excellence, you're going to find the
that
best.
tries to take people and put them in place because they're minorities.
You want the best in everything. So let me just ask a final question, okay? If you were about to board a United Airlines flight from Tallahassee to Atlanta, and you find out the airline pilot says, hey, everybody, I'm a pilot. I was hired because of diversity. Let's have a great flight. Would that make
If the pilot says, hi, I'm a pilot, I was hired because of diversity, have a great flight, is this how people who are racist think about the world? Actually, wait a second. What did Charlie Kirk just say to me? Just say to this individual he's debating? If the pilot says, hey guys, I'm only here because I'm black, and they needed another black in here, another black to fly the plane because of the DEI quotas, what kind of question? What kind of question is that, bro? I get concerned when our transportation secretary is talking about DEI when we don't have flights taken off because our air traffic controllers all left because the Trump management of government sucks so bad. Or when our new FEMA director has no idea what hurricane season is. All right, that's a real story. Our FEMA director does not know what hurricane season is. All right, I get concerned when our defense secretary is a raging drunk who can't keep his text messages secure. All right, that's the lack of excellence I'm concerned about. Real displays of incompetence. But Charlie Kirk needs to make up this fictional depiction of a pilot, a black pilot that says, hey guys, I'm only here because I'm a black. They made me be black because I have to be a diversity hire. Charlie Kirk needs to make up this fake situation to explain his point. But we have countless examples of the Trump admin hiring the worst, most unprepared people in the world because of nepotism, because they're in like a mafia together, and because they're really bad. And Trump likes having bad people around him, like Jeffrey Epstein, who he was best friends with.
make you feel good or not?
But again, Trump's not racist because Trump also was best friends with P. Diddy, so he likes all the races if they do those things.
Not so good.
No, but I know he's still got to be qualified in order to fly that aircraft.
But he said I was hired because of diversity, and you're like...
You still got to meet the standards in order to get into the cockpit.
Well, again, we know because air traffic controllers and many others, they relax those standards. When you have a surgeon...
You're saying that, but look, you're not. It does not make sense. It's irresponsible not only to say that, but to actually put unqualified people in risk lives.
But we know that's actually happening every day, and that's why it doesn't make sense. But racial quotas end up
yeah,
mattering
bro,
more than
it's definitely happening.
When I go in,
that's why we started having crashes again once Trump got in office, dude. Because Trump killed the DEI. We had DEI. We literally had Obama. We had DEI in the White House to start off, okay? And we had no plane crashes in America for passenger airline crashes, all right, for like 15 years. Trump got rid of DEI, and we start having plane crashes again. We literally had no plane crashes throughout the duration of DEI, all right? DEI was killed by Trump, and now we have plane crashes again. It's actually crazy.
in for surgery, I want my surgeon to be the best surgeon. And here's where we can agree.
with that,
We
yes.
want a merit-based society, not a race-based society.
I say we should have started that way from the beginning, but at any rate, then the last thing, I don't want to hog the mic, but I'll just say
That's
this
fine.
last thing. So you talked about, black fathers, absentee and all this other stuff and everything else. I actually agree. Okay, more fathers in the home and everything else. That's wonderful stuff. The thing is that you also said, and I'm looking at some of your stuff previous, that there's a system in place that actually incentivizes women to make babies without husbands.
It's a
right?
great society.
Take that away.
I
And
agree.
then that problem essentially goes away.
I agree.
Now, I would ask this question also. What percent of black men do you think are abandoning their homes right now?
Well,
as it relates?
we know that. It's actually 60 to 70%.
Okay, then you'd actually be wrong because, the CDC actually submitted a report in 2023 that says 54%
The
of black men.
CDC? How can you trust the CDC, bro? Huh. The Clinton Democrat Committee?
Don't even have children.
But that's
54%.
Those
So-
are
so
no,
there's-
those are two different numbers, man. I'm talking about those that impregnate.
Okay. Well, most black men are actually producing children within the construct of
I'm
marriage.
talking
right?
about just the kids.
So you're saying black men are getting married and then leaving their
They're not
families?
getting married. That's the problem. What I'm
What?
saying is the data. I'm
Sir,
saying 2 out of 3 black men impregnate women and don't stay with them.
Sir, I'm telling you that 54% of black men, according to the CDC study 2023 National Health Statistics reports, literally says that 54% don't even have children.
I know that's a complete different stat. Everyone knows what I'm saying and not what you're saying. That's
Okay.
a complete different. That's like a.
So-
what I'm saying is that if you have a black child, which obviously exists for some reason, right? Somebody did something to make that black baby.
Okay.
2 out of 3 times, the dad will not be around. Fact. Done.
All right.
Yeah, it's only out of. Yeah, thank you. The statistics are actually out of only those who have kids.
So you got black men who are married also. They're not abandoning their children and families at high rates.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the vast majority of black babies are born out of wedlock with abandoned fathers.
Okay, so let's do this. Now, if that's bad for black, if that's bad for black
It's
babies,
bad for all. It's bad for everybody.
So then shouldn't that be your main line then?
It is actually. Everywhere I go, I
No,
talk about
when
dads.
you do it, you kind of focus on black men as if somehow we're the only ones that, that's part of that problem.
Well, no, but it is a black men abandonment issue, of course. I mean, would you agree that's probably the biggest issue facing black America is lack of dads?
It's one of the issues.
Okay, what is the biggest issue?
I don't know. I haven't kind of thought
That's
about
fine.
that.
I want you
I'll
to think
just
about
say-
it over the next couple of days. We as conservatives believe
Because we got a lot of problems, but I'll
the breakdown of family, we believe, is the original sin of what's happening. We think that truth transcends colors.
Yeah.
It's true for white people, black people, Asians, Hispanics. Final thought.
Okay, fine, good question. I mean, good conversation. That's just my thing is when I hear you talk about it, it seems like you're
Minority. Maybe I'll watch some NBA, dude. Thank you for trying, Kit. I see the efforts in there. Hi, Cam. Hi, Kit. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. You know, it is what it is sometimes. It is what it is. Let's see. Yeah, if the stream's not gonna pick up, I'm not gonna lie, I might look for DoorDashes. Because I do need the money. I could just plan the stream for longer tomorrow, maybe. But yeah, I'm becoming the... I'm chairing or managing a campaign locally. I have to be there early in the morning to sign some papers. But... we don't have, like... we don't have 90% of the usual members and stuff here either to watch. It's probably because I've been gone for a week, obviously, so... Elon and morality. You can't type? Hi, Siri. We are here. Hello, y'all. No, it's just I'm tired. I had to drive a lot last night. You're a regular. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. No, but it's also hard if I don't get viewers because I can't get callers. If I can't get callers, that's like the whole point of the show, right? So it happens. Ah, man. Why did I not become a reaction YouTuber? Like, everything could have been better if I just became a reaction YouTuber. You're just doing chores. Well, that's good. That's good you're doing chores. That's good you're doing chores. Yeah, I might just go, I might just go complete my, we fell off. Well, I was gone a whole week, so being gone a whole week is difficult. I was back up to 300 or 500 viewers, but I haven't posted a video or done anything in a week, so there's nothing else I could do. I might go complete the construction of my Discord. I've been cleaning up my Discord the past few days. I might just go clean up the Discord more and get ready for tomorrow. Stream long tomorrow. Oh geez, thank you for all. I just saw people donated. Thank you, L. Thank you so much. Was that just recently? Today? Thank you so much. Keegan, thank you so much, guys. Oh, thank you. Oh, that was right now? Thank you, guys. Oh, you guys are helping. You guys heard my depression. Thank you. No, it's been kind of a... Give your Discord mods permissions. Which permissions? A fake feud fulfill. I need to make some videos getting people mad too. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I just saw that. Thank you. I was thinking if I make a bunch of videos that are like about about my show and advertising it would help, obviously. Going on YouTube. Thank you, I really appreciate you guys. Let me see. Just because you're depressed doesn't mean you shouldn't finish. Finish what? I don't have any callers or anything. I'm actually too exhausted to have full conversations too, I'm not gonna lie. What's your schedule like tomorrow? What's your schedule like tomorrow, guys? What's your schedule like tomorrow? Yeah, you have a busy schedule? Cause I have nothing to do tomorrow after 5, so I could do a big long stream. I could do a big long stream and just hang out for 10 hours or something. You guys free tomorrow to hang out? Can you ask your my mom said I could hang out if your mom says okay. You have to get up? I'm new here. Are you a Republican or a Democrat? I'm neither, okay? Well, I'm a Democrat because I need to be a Democrat. Because Republicans right now are supporting very anti-American policies. Your mom said no? Crap, dude. No, my brain is just shut off. So, like, I was traveling all week. I had a work trip. I was actually in DC. So I was in DC for the week. Came back driving, vroom vroom. I signed up to chair this campaign. So I have to go there tomorrow morning pretty early to sign. I have to be there really early tomorrow to sign papers at the bank for their finance account for their local campaign. So I probably should go to bed and get ready for that. I don't want to abandon you guys. Cuz I was already gone a week, but I don't think my channel is going to be helped if I'm on here all sleepy and stuff. What was this? Yeah. Yes, you do. Sleep stream? Yeah, maybe. I've been more exhausted after. Unlike you, I have to go to work later, losers. Okay, UK Bob, I'm proud of you. Oh man. All right, I need brainstorming. I might go in Discord and brainstorm. Oh man, I can't just make. Okay, so I cannot make a full channel of Charlie Kirk reactions. Okay. TikTok might get banned eventually. I feel like it's hard because if I'm focusing on TikTok, I can't focus on videos or streaming. If I focus on streaming, I can't focus on videos or TikTok. If I focus on videos, I can't focus on streaming as much because I'm editing and making and uploading videos. But if and local politics, and I really want to do that. I really want to make my local media company thing too, or not even local, but like for messaging and stuff. And I think it would actually do really well. But the putting that together is really difficult, obviously. Bragging about weekend work. Listening while getting stuff done. You talk to the AI. What's my topic today? My topic today is going to bed because I'm exhausted. I'm actually very exhausted. And getting sleep and streaming earlier tomorrow and streaming for 10 hours. Not 10 hours, probably 5 hours. It was a long week. It was a long week, man. Stop talking to the AI. The AI scares me. Actually, watching AI stuff and like seeing AI videos makes me very depressed. If I see an AI video, I actually get extremely sad. And like it hurts my freaking brain, dude. It's so sad. And thank you, Kit. I saw Kit donate earlier. Thank you so much. Alright, I really appreciate you guys. I'm just feeling guilty now that you gave me money and I can't provide content. But yeah, I've been involved in a lot of stuff. I wish I was more shameless with recording. If I start at 5 p.m., you better do 6 hours. Get some rest. Thank you. You predicted that the cat fight, right? Yeah. Expedient answer. Just an answer. Research data points. The thing with AI is, I mean, it is logical, but it also lies too because it needs to answer the question. But it always sides with Democrats and liberals, dude. You have to really mess up the data. for it to side with conservatives. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sleep, get some rest, hopefully, and stream for longer tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for supporting. I feel bad still. I'll add it to the total for the thing. I told my job I'm tired and need some rest. They fired me. Well, if this were my job, I'd be streaming 8 hours a day. I DoorDashed. I worked today, and I DoorDashed for 6 hours on top of work. Okay, when I got on here, I just got done DoorDashing until 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's why I was late. All right, that's usually why I'm late. So I was on DoorDash and I was shopping at CVS for someone to freaking bring a rich person their ice cream, dude. I was bringing a rich person their ice cream. So I'm exhausted from that, mostly, doing multiple jobs. I basically do 3 jobs out of all those, and YouTube being the 3rd. I know you bitch made. Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, you know. Don't do that, brother. I have to fix my graphics too. I don't like my graphics. I might change my channel to Jolah Politics instead of Jolah Talks Politics. I'm kind of sick of... Like, Jolah Talks Politics is cool, but I think Jolah Politics is cleaner for social media handles and for emails. If I can get the Jolah Politics email, that'd be perfect. So I might just go to Jolah Politics, make it more streamlined. Fake resources. That's the thing with AI, though. You could have it write you a paper. Just check that the sources are real sources. Like, you could just tell it, like, hey, dude, this is not real. They'll say, oh, sorry. DoorDash is real shit. It really is, though. Some stuff you do for DoorDash, some of the houses you have to attack, and some of the orders people get is actually kind of insane, dude. It's actually kind of wild. Alright, I'm gonna go rest, and I'm gonna set a time for tomorrow and actually advertise that I'll be online, so everyone knows that we're gonna be streaming. And if you have videos, please recommend, DM me on Discord, okay? Please recommend videos to react to that are like getting a lot of views. Things that like a Destiny or a Vosh or a Hassan or whoever, things they react to, or even Pisco, things they would react to. I want to talk so much, but I'm gonna sleep. See you tomorrow. Yeah, do that. Taco farts are evil. Thank you guys for saying hi. Happy to lie. Asmon Gold? Ooh, maybe. Maybe Asmon Gold. Yeah, good night. I'll hop in Discord for a little bit. Leftist slop is the rage. Content is so exhausting. I don't know how they make content, dude. Content is so exhausting. Like, these things are they just don't matter. But if you want to make money doing content, like what? Like, how am I supposed to talk about this, dude? Bannon is a criminal. Bannon is a communist R word. Bannon is peak R word. Bannon is peak R word. Bannon is peak R word. Like, how am I supposed to talk about this and not go insane? I get DoorDash because I need a hip replacement, not because I'm rich. Haha. Thank you. I gotta get a surgery too in freaking a few weeks for my hernia. I gotta get a surgery, so I've been going to all these medical appointments, getting scans and stuff, so I'll be getting a freaking surgery. Alright, woe is me. Thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, thank you for Jolah Politics donations on Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo, all that kind of stuff. The June 14th, oh, I forgot about the June 14th parade. Oh my goodness. Alright, pick a topic outside the main talking points, but then I won't get any views. Okay, I gotta go meditate and find my powers again. I have to channel my powers back, okay? I've been hanging out on my work trip. I was around too many real people, all right? I saw too many real people. I got to reintegrate my brain into the mainframe, into the internet, okay? I got to put my brain back into the internet. It's been offloaded for far too long. The Switch 2 has no games, or I mean, it's still too expensive, obviously. It also has no games, though. All right, good night, guys. See you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Thank you for helping out with the goal again. It's at 3% now. It's at 3% once I update it. Thank you. L take unsub. True. See you guys.